Hey guys, Jess here, joined with another episode of All A's. First of all, I'm joined with Matt Chapman, and I don't know how to intro you. Obviously, you're the third baseman, but you have a lot of hardware. So we have what? Gold gloves, platinum gloves.
Platinum gloves, Wilson defensive player, and a fielding Bible, I believe. Mostly defensive awards, an AL West title.
Okay.
In a pandemic season, but
Yes.
it still counts. And then the offensive one's still to come.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there one day. Now, speaking of your defensive game, and it's really like I love coming out here and watching you warm up and stuff. But from the time you grew up to now, who did you grow up kind of watching defensively, and who do you get to watch now that you kind of get excited about on the defensive side?
When I was young, I definitely feel like I never had like a single one favorite player, but somebody I always loved to go watching play defense was Jeter with doing the jump throw. I feel like I always tried to mimic that as a little kid. Torrey Hunter, when he was robbing all those home runs.
Yes.
I feel like I've always idolized defense for a long time. And then from a third base standpoint, I loved watching Adrian Beltre. He was on the Dodgers when I was a young kid, so he was local. And I liked Scott Rowland a lot, and Evan Longoria, which is funny, I'm playing against him now, but I watched him when I was younger. So it's cool to play against some of those guys that you've grown up watching, and then some guys that I like watching play defense. These days, obviously Nolan, we're pretty connected in our own way, but he's always fun to watch. I will say I've watched Rafael Devers and seen how much he's improved defensively. I mean, obviously everybody knows how well he can handle the bat and how special he is, but to watch how far along his defense has come in the last 4 years since we've both been in the league together, somebody that I love watching play the game, so he's definitely going to be a really good player for a long time.
And you mentioned Nolan Arenado, and I asked you a few years back, who's better between you guys? And it's a tough question to answer, but you said you might have him maybe defensively overall. Do you think that that's still the case?
On the spot. It's funny because everybody tries to ask you who's better or who's the best. I bet you if you ask a lot of guys around the league, they're going to say that they feel like they're the best because you kind of got to have that mentality if you want to go out there and be confident and successful every single day. So I take the field like I'm the best third baseman in baseball every night, regardless of how I'm feeling. But I go out there and I feel like I'm the best defensive third baseman every single time I go out there, and I want the ball hit my way. And I know Nolan probably feels the same way. So I'll leave it up to the critics to decide who's better.
I love that, and I feel like you have to have that mentality. And I was watching this clip of you. You were interviewing with Eduardo Perez with ESPN back in the day, and you're playing so far out because you always had a kind of a coach or manager saying, play as far as you can because I know you're going to get the throw down. Is that still the case, and does Olsen kind of help you a little bit there?
For sure. That is the case. You always want to play as deep as your arm will allow you.
Yeah.
Some situations will dictate a little bit otherwise, whether you think the guy's going to bunt or if it's a double play situation, or some guy has beat me by a slow roller or something, or I don't think he's going to hit it past me. So some of those things come into play. It's nice having Olsen over there because if I happen to airmail one, he's super tall and he reaches up and grabs it. But if I throw it low, he digs it out too. So it's always great having him over there. I have been playing with my depths a little bit just because it seems like some guys have been hitting some slow rollers that I've been not able to get outs on because I'm playing so deep. So it's like that fine line of how deep can you play and make the out on a routine ball, but also you don't want to give up the cheap hit, So I'm like, you're always kind of moving around a little bit. You got to just kind of use your instincts a little bit on it.
Chapman's got it. He gets up. His throw in time.
But you have this really, and I don't want to say unique approach, but when you're in ready position, you're almost like a third base, like a softball player, because your butt's almost down to the. I feel like that's got to be beneficial, even if you are close up, whether it's a bunt situation or not.
Yeah, I'm sure that position has probably taken its toll on my legs by this time in the season. But it's just something that naturally I started doing. I don't know when it came about. I would have to look and see what I did in the minor leagues, but it's something that has allowed me to just get really good reads on the baseball. Because I do get low, but then I kind of come up as the ball's getting hit, and I don't know, it's just kind of like my rhythm of getting ready on defense, and it allows me to feel like when the ball is hit, I'm able to make an instant reaction, whether that's back, forward, left or right, and my feet seem to be coming up and and then it's kind of like when the ball's hit, my feet hit, and then I can like boom, boom, or go whichever way.
You also have this thing where you have like an openness, like hit the ball to me.
Right.
Is that accurate? Do you
For
think?
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm expecting the ball hit to me every single pitch, and you know, throughout the course of a season and you know, multiple games, it's not always easy to stay locked in and be ready for every single pitch. But we play 162 games. I don't know how many pitches that is. You're out there on defense, like. You're bound to be more locked in sometimes than other times, you know.
Sure.
But like, I feel like the routine that I've established for myself and the consistent setup has allowed me to be consistent even on the days that, you know, you might not feel the best or whatever it is.
That's a good mentality to have. Even if you're not always on it, you're probably still going to make that play.
Right. I'm giving myself the best opportunity.
Yeah, and a tough thing though, I feel a lot of kids would approach you asking like, hey, do you have any advice as like a young infielder? And you have so much pride in your defensive game, but how do you kind of make it, is there a way to simplify what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say the number one thing that if I was teaching a young kid how to improve his defense would be the first thing is know what your setup is. And for me, it's like this is how I kind of learned it. There's a circle where you're playing defense, and I'm standing outside of it. The pitcher gets ready. I step into my circle. Boom, I'm ready.
Right.
And then you'll see me walk around and move around in between pitches. So I kind of like space out for a second, and then I step back in. So it's like have something like that where I know a little kid might not be disciplined enough to do that, but it's like be ready for every pitch.
Yeah.
Like if you're ready every pitch, that you're going to give yourself a chance.
Right.
And then the next thing I would say is your feet are probably the most important thing to catching a baseball, your footwork. So for a little kid, I would tell them to work on their feet and make sure right, left catch, right, left throw. And if your arm is sore, use your feet. If your feet are a little bit sore, use your hands and have a soft wrist. So I always try to have my wrist like this, and that way when I catch the ball, I could still work through it. If you try to catch the ball like this, you don't have anywhere to move.
Right.
So you want to keep a soft wrist and use two hands. And that's kind of how I would have a little kid start off with. Just focus on being ready, make sure you're moving your feet and you're working to get a good hop, and keep your hands loose.
What visiting ballpark did you hit the second most at? A, Globe Life, B, Yankee Stadium, or C, Angel Stadium?
Ooh.
Now, I know one defensive play just occurred the day that you hit your 100th home run.
And that one blooped over third. That could be trouble. What a catch by Chapman! Oh my!
I know that's one of your more memorable defensive plays. Can you tell me some of the others that you might hit, maybe like a top three? Because that one, I'm still thinking about that one.
Yeah, that one is at the top of, you know, that one's as good as any play I've ever made in my life, for sure. I would say really a play that sticks out in my mind is when we were playing, and I think it was 2017 or probably 2018 actually. It's 2018. I made a play against Carlos Gomez down the third base line where I almost tripped and threw it from like the first base coach's box to Ole. And I feel like that's one of the best plays I've ever made because I robbed him down the line, but then I threw it from so far away and was able to still get the out. Or the jump throw that I made against Solarte when we were playing the Blue Jays in 2018. Those all are probably some of the most memorable ones I've made, the jump and throw across. But as far as going and getting a fly ball like that goes, I mean that's got to be as good as the plays I've made. One that sticks out to me is I made a play in 2017 in Toronto against the Blue Jays off Justin Smoke where I was playing shortstop and ran all the way out to the left field corner and caught a fly ball. And I feel like that was a pretty underappreciated play because I think that's one of the best plays I ever made. But I got no attention, probably because we were playing really crappy and we weren't on the map yet. But Yeah, I feel like that's one of the best plays I ever made that never got any attention.
I'll make sure I dig it out and I
Yeah.
tweet it out for you.
2017. where I
2017 against the Jays.
against the
Justin
Jays
Smith.
in Toronto. So I feel like I ran like 200 feet for this baseball.
Oh,
But
wow.
nobody ever says anything
Yeah.
about it.
So we have this trivia game for you.
Okay.
It's called Let's Keep It 100.
Let's keep it
because
100.
you hit your 100th career home run.
Awesome.
And we're gonna see how good your memory is.
Okay.
So who did you hit your first career home run off of, and do you remember the date?
I hit my first career home run off of Corey Kluber,
Mm-hmm.
and I hit 2 that game.
Yes, you did.
The date would have to be, I went to the hospital right after I got called up, so there was a little bit of a break. Was it in July?
Yes.
It was probably like July 18th,
15.
15th.
Yes.
Somewhere around there.
No, that was wonderfully
Okay.
done. No, I love y'all's memories. It's like always blows my mind. So it was July 15th, 2017. You did hit 2 that game off
did.
of
Corey Kluber.
The Corey Kluber.
I know. That's
That's
a
one
pretty,
way to make a statement.
That's a pretty good one. Better late than never, and if
Yeah.
you're gonna do it, you do it off one of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if he didn't make any facial features. Just
No,
probably just
I
stayed-
think he was probably just like, who the hell is this
Who's
kid?
this guy?
Because he was doing pretty well that year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done well his whole career, but
Yeah.
that was pretty cool because he was somebody that I was like kind of nervous to face. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, this is Corey Kluber. And,
Yeah.
and I hadn't really done anything in my mind that proven to that point that I was good enough to play in the big leagues. And
Yeah.
I had that big game, and I was like starting to get comfortable. And I was like, okay, I did something that, people are probably like, okay, this kid can, probably play here.
Right. No, that's awesome. How many current teammates have you homered off of, and can you name them?
Teammates on our team right now.
Yes.
Have I homered off? Let's see. Never faced Bassett or Mania or Cap or Irvin.
We can do bullpen. Too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hit one off Sergio Romo.
Yes.
Is that the only one?
That's the only one.
Okay.
It was September 15th, 2018.
Tampa.
Yeah, in Tampa.
He tried to blow a fastball by me.
Well, there it is. Maybe don't do that.
He
next
remembers
time.
all these things, so I wonder if he remembers this one. We've never talked.
I'll have to
talked
ask.
about it, but
Should I bring it up to him, or is it not?
I don't think he'll care.
Okay.
He's got 3 World Series rings. He shouldn't care about giving up a solo home run to me in a game they're already winning.
One of your most memorable home runs was off a walk-off home run against the Rays in 2019. Can you name the pitcher?
Yeah, Diego Castillo.
Yes.
I'll never forget that one. If I forgot that home run, that'd be pretty bad.
Yeah, I'd
Because-
actually make you leave.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's probably my favorite home run I've ever hit in my life.
Do you remember who was on base?
I pretty much was blacked out at that moment, but Profar was on third base because I remember him
And there was
throwing his
one
hands
other.
up, and then was Ramon on base?
Simeon.
Marcus.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was because I was probably hitting second. So, yeah, that was one of those moments where, you don't think about doing that because if I go up there thinking, oh, hit a walk-off
Yeah.
home run, like chances are that's not going to happen. And so you're so focused in that moment. He throws really hard. I was sitting on a slider, threw a first pitch fastball, and then it got to 1-0, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, I could just stay on the slider. Don't, because
Right.
you might want to change your mind.
Yeah.
It's 1-0, and I was like, just stay with the slider, just put a good swing on it. And then it was like when I hit it, it just felt so good, and and then I saw it, and I was like, that's going out, and I was in shock. I don't even think it all happened so fast.
I was gonna say, tell me about that, because every time, I've talked to Jonah High when he hit his first base hit, and they talk about blacking out. What point is it when the bat hits the ball, you kind of black out in those scenarios?
So I hit it, and it just I knew I got it really good, and then I saw the trajectory of it, and I knew it was going over the
Yeah.
fence, and I was just like. And then it was almost because the situation in my head, I was just trying to focus so hard on my at bat
Right.
and just making sure I did my part because it's 2 outs, we're down by 2, and I wasn't even thinking about hitting a home run. I was just thinking about get on base, find a way to get on base, extend the game. Let's win this game. And and then I hit that ball, and it's like, and at that moment, it's like you don't even know what's happening. And then I was like, holy, I just did it,
Yeah,
you know? And
no.
it's like you're rounding first base, you don't even believe it. So we'll have to bleep that out.
No, I'm usually the one that gets bleeped first, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Out of the first 100 home runs, what team did you hit the most homers off of? A, Mariners, B, Rangers, C, Astros.
Rangers.
Yes. Do you know the number?
10?
16.
16?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had to be the Rangers, definitely not the Astros. They had like Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, and Charlie Morton for like 3 years.
Yeah, that'd be a fun little thing to brag about, though. Out of the first 100 home runs, you've hit 49 here at the Coliseum. What visiting ballpark did you hit the second most at? A, Globe Life, B, Yankee Stadium, or C, Angel Stadium?
Ooh, Angel Stadium.
Yes.
Like hitting in my hometown.
Yeah, there you go. 9 of them at Angel Stadium.
That's a good hit in there.
You did great. That was wonderfully done.
I know, and trust me, you guys, I don't just like look up highlights and information about myself all the time.
I do.
I promise. If they asked me the same questions about my teammates, I'd probably be able to answer most of them. So it could have been a home run, but I stopped at second because, you know, the coaches were having to get the kids to run. And when I got on second base, I start like doing the dance. Like, I showed a little bit more emotion then than I do now.
James Kaprielian, you guys go way back, super close. What's the bond with y'all, and how has it been watching him kind of flourish since coming here?
It's been pretty cool to see. So we didn't really know each other in high school, but we played against each other, being from the same area. He was a grade below me, so, and our schools didn't really play each other too much, but you know, that area is full of good baseball players and travel ball teams, so like we'd see each other around, we knew each other, and then he went to UCLA, and UCLA and Fullerton, we'd always play each other, so we started playing against each other more. Obviously, I saw how good he was and, you know, respected the talent that he had. And then we had a couple buddies that went to UCLA, and we would go visit them sometimes, and, you know, because UCLA is a little bit more fun to hang out at than Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah.
So we'd go hang out with them at UCLA and, you know, go to a party or do something. I'd see Cap. We got to know each other a little bit more. And then fast forward the time, we both get drafted. We have some mutual friends in Tyler Wade and Garrett Stubbs, and we all end up rooming together in the off season because you know, we're all from the same area. We start working out. I lived with Cap for 2 off seasons, and we started getting really close. And then he gets traded over to the A's. Obviously, he had the Tommy John injury and some setbacks. So, you know, he's definitely had not the path that he drew up, but you know, he always stayed positive and kept working hard, and you know, even he never got too down. Obviously, it's hard to come back from injury, and you know, I went through my own little injury this off season, and it's you know, it's a mental grind too, besides just a physical grind. So for him to get through all those injuries and then come up here and have the success that he's been having, and I mean, it's been fun to watch, and he's handled it really well. I feel like every time he goes out there and takes the mound, you know, we feel like we have a chance to win.
Yeah.
And you know, that's all you can really ask for in a pitcher, and he's been a good teammate. He seems to be doing everything the right way. He always has worked hard. That's never been an issue for him. So it's fun to see, and you know, go from being, you know, baseball acquaintances to now teammates to best friends, and you know, he's ordaining my wedding.
Is he?
He is. So that's it's pretty funny. But yeah, we got a really good group of friends. You know, some of his buddies from school. A lot of my best friends are the guys I went to Fullerton with, and we're still friends. And then, you know, Garrett, Stubbs, and some of our other buddies that have played. So we got this huge friend group, and it's like I think I got like freaking 10 best man at my wedding.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's pretty cool.
That's really cool. Are you gonna let him drop like a Kobe Bryant quote? And
I'll let him drop whatever he wants.
oh, you're a great bride. You're a great bride with that.
Yeah, I'm not a bridezilla.
That's good. So before we head into the next one, I do have a surprise for you. I talked to somebody about you today.
Uh-oh.
A one Mr. Jim Chapman.
Oh, my dad.
Yeah.
My pops.
Yeah. And he told me something really interesting. You started walking at 10 months, which I have a nephew. I didn't realize how rare that was until having a nephew of my own. And so you've been mobile from the beginning.
Pretty active guy. I mean, 10 months, you know, who knows, they could be exaggerating. But I don't think
Jim would never lie to me.
I don't think my dad, well, he's definitely, if there's one thing my dad is, he's not a liar. So I'll believe that. I think that, I guess you probably pay attention and you'll know when your kid first start walking.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I take that back. But
So tell me about when you were in T-ball, you'd get a hit, you'd be on base, and you would start dancing?
yeah, we have a video of that back in, geez, I was like 5 years old and we were playing T-ball. My parents used to just go to the games and sit there with their friends and hang
Yeah.
out and, you know, with those big video cameras
Oh,
or
yeah.
something. And I think, I was pretty locked into baseball from the beginning. I
Right.
played a bunch of sports, but I think I understood the rules a little bit better than most
Yeah.
T-ballers.
Yeah.
So I hit a ball over all the outfielders'
And you would run to
heads,
first?
and I'd run, but I wanted to keep running, but I
Got
couldn't.
it.
I couldn't pass my teammates on the bases.
Gotcha.
So like one of my best friends at the time, my neighbor, him and his brother were on our team, and I think one of them was on base, and I think he's just like looking at butterflies, and then so it could have been a home run, but I stopped at second because you know the coaches were having to get the kids to run, and when I got on second base, I start like doing the dance, like I showed a little bit more emotion then than I do now, but yeah, it's like I'm like shuffling on second base.
I love
like,
it. I think it's great. You would run up and down your street with a baby blanket tied around your neck, yelling Batman, pretending you were the caped crusader. Are you still going through that phase, or?
So you did talk to my dad.
I sure did.
So yeah, I mean, Batman's always been my favorite, and he was my favorite.
But
and
what's caped crusader? I've never heard
I
of
don't know
that.
what that is, but what I will say is, we have like home videos. There's one, it's like a tent. There's like a little Batman tent, and then like they have the camera, and they're like na 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 Batman, and then I'd bust out of there in my diaper,
Right.
and nothing but a diaper and the cape on, and I'd just bust out and start running, and then I ran out the door, and I would just start running through the street, and then there's videos of me running up to my neighbor's house in my diaper and a cape on, and so I think my parents were just doing whatever they could to burn all my energy.
Yeah, whatever helps, Mr. Cape Crusader. I think
Yeah.
it's great. I'm really curious because, I mean, you're kind of, and your dad mentioned actually how diverse you were and how much you love different types of genres of music. And I know you're kind of the team DJ. You literally have 2 different walk-up songs.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. You have Sublime, of course, and I know you like Tupac. Is there anything that's off limits when it comes to genres for you?
Not really. I wasn't as big on country music as I am now, probably.
Who do we have to thank for that?
Probably Mitch
Okay.
Moreland. We got a lot of country boys on our team, I feel
I
like,
know.
and they've been opening up my my horizons to music a little bit, because as DJ you only have so much material, you know,
Right.
and pressure's on. So I'm like, you know what, you guys pick.
Yeah.
I don't care.
There you go.
So I started listening to more country music. I like that. Maybe I got favorites, but I don't rule anything out.
Okay.
You know, like I don't discriminate. So if it sounds good to me, then it's good. If it doesn't, I don't have any preconceived thoughts about what genres.
There you go. All right, thanks for letting me bug you for a little bit. This is really fun.
No, that was easy. Thank you.
You're welcome.